Hello everyone, welcome to Moments of Inspiration with Mandla Mkhwebane. Well, today we're picking up from where we left off last time and we are talking about purpose. So in the first episode, we spoke about, first episode around purpose. We spoke about what is purpose. If we say that we are living by purpose, even if we were to define purpose, what does it mean? Then in the second episode, we spoke about 10 tips on how you can actually discover your purpose. So I would like to progress it today. I would like to, just take you through on a journey. So we've defined it. We have given tips of how you are finding it. And I really hope that that has helped you and that has added something to you. So today I want to take it all the way and say, okay, now you have found purpose. Now you are living by purpose, but it's going to be a journey. So just because you now have an idea and you have an inkling of how or what your purpose is, that's not where the story ends. There's still more, and there's still many years ahead of you. For those who are younger, remember one of the things that we've spoken about in one of the programs is that a lot of people think that they've got a lot of time. People think that they've got millions of years or hundred thousands of years, but we have discovered that actually, if you live to be 75, which not a lot of people actually do, but let's take it that is an average age that you pass away 75 years old, you would have lived to be just over, I think it's 27. I'm just making this from my brain, but I think it's 27,375. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can just take your calculator, just do 365 times 75. You'll get your answer. But I can tell you now, it's just around 27,000 days. So it's not a lot of days. It's not a lot of days. So the truth of the matter is, you need to ensure that you are ready. You need to ensure that you are taking the bull by the horns. You need to ensure that you are living each day fully. And the only way that you can live each day fully is if you are living by purpose. Living by purpose, it's the most important thing that you can do in your life. You can either live by default or you can live by purpose. So default is that life will choose for you. It will choose the direction that it takes you. You don't want to wake up in the morning and you do not have control over your life. You don't have control over your destiny. Other people are deciding life for you. Circumstances are dictating how you live your life and the things that are happening around you that you cannot control are kind of like dictating how you live your life. You want to take control over your life. You want to take control back and say that this is my life. I only have one life that I can live, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that life that I live it's the most meaningful. That life that I live that is the most blessed. That life that I live is the most impactful. That life that I live is the one that is going to make a difference, not only in my life, not only in my family's life, but in the lives of the community, in the life of people around me. That is the way to live. That is the way to ensure that you spend your days, which, like I've already alluded, are not as many as you think. So today, I am assuming that you are set, you kind of like have an idea of what your purpose is, so the kind of direction that you want to go. And today I just want to lay just another brick and to give you 7 points around, now that you've found your purpose, what is next? How do I continue living, all the days of my life here in the land of purpose? And how do I ensure that even as I live through my purpose and as I push through and as I make a difference, that I do it all the way, that I don't stop and get tired along the way, but that I just push and just push along the way. You know, a life of purpose, it's actually a calling. Purpose, it's actually a calling, is the reason why you are here on earth. Living a life of purpose is the reason why you are actually here on earth, is the reason why you exist. So it's important that you live a life of purpose. And today I want to be a friend. I want to be a friend that actually walks alongside you. I want to be a friend that, you know, kind of like takes you by the hand and say, you know what, you can do this. I want to be a friend, because a life of purpose, it's very lonely. Like I said, that a life of purpose, it's very personal. A life of purpose is very personal. It's a life that only you can fully understand. Your parents will not fully understand you. That's why they call you weird. And your friends, that's why they think that you are a bit crazy and a little bit eccentric. Why? Because the life of purpose it's such that if you are really living a life of purpose, it's such that people will not be able to understand you. People will not be able to understand where you are coming from. People will not be able to understand the kind of decisions that you make. People will misunderstand you. Sometimes you will be marginalized. Sometimes people will scrape you off, and sometimes people will even sabotage you. You know why? Because people do not understand why you are living the way that you are living. And then there will be other people who see the kind of life that you are living, who see the kind of impact, and they'll be jealous, they'll be envious, and they'll want to sabotage you, and they'll want to stop and put a halt to what you are doing. I know it sounds crazy because you are doing good, but other people won't see it like that. And that's the kind of crazy world that you are living. All I can say is that living a life of purpose is that it's such that you are all on your own, and you need to make it happen. You need to be strong. You need to rise up and say, you know what, I have chosen to live like this, and I'm gonna push through. So today I want to take you by the hand and just give you 7 things and 7 nuggets that are going to help you as you continue living this life of purpose. And I want you to note them down. I want you to listen to this video or podcast again. I want you to take note of these 7 things, because in your journey in living on purpose, you are going to need them. And these are the gems that are going to keep you going, that are going to keep you moving, that are going to keep you strong, that are going to keep you focused, and that are going to keep you strengthened in this journey. Because, my friend, you need the strength, you need stamina, you need to be able to say, you know what, I am going to do this, and I'm going to be the best in what I can do. So take heart, be of good courage. You are in good company here on Moments of Inspiration. So here we go, 7 things that are going to help you on this journey of purpose. So before I go to the 7 things that are going to help you to stay on course on this journey of purpose, I just want to remind you that I still have Seshoka. I know that he's had some very good, feedback and very good input into this topic of living a life of purpose. So he's with us today, and one of the questions that we'll be answering today is around purpose and career. What does it mean? That is one of the burning questions that I'm always getting whenever I speak about purpose. So is my career a purpose, or but stay put, because we're going to talk about that with Sevik. So 7 steps or 7 things that are going to help you to stay on course. Number 1, it's something that I've spoken about, and I want to continue speaking about it until it kind of like sinks in, because I think it is so important in this journey of purpose. Number 1, how do you stay? You need to pay close attention. Pay close attention to the inner voice. What is happening on the inside of you? A lot of people, they do not like silence. And I've spoken about this. A lot of people do not like silence. they make sure that there's always something in the background. There's music, there is a TV, there is YouTube, a laptop, or a podcast, or whatever. But if you want to live a life of purpose, a life of intuition, you need to be able to, at times, just to be still and look deep down and just search deep within what is happening, and just search deep within, just search deep down. What is happening? Where am I going? You see, a life of purpose is a life that you live from the inside out. A life of purpose is not a life of what is happening outside. Yes, you will impact what is happening outside. Yes, you will make a difference in terms of what is happening outside. Yes, you will cause major shakes and changes in terms of what is happening outside. But a life of purpose, it starts from the inside of you. Everything that you need to live a life of purpose, it's already on the inside of you. When you were born, everything that you needed to live this life of purpose, the machinery you needed to make sure that this purpose journey moves and moves, is already deposited on the inside of you. I want to say to you that as you continue, the very same voice, the very same promptings, the very same ideas that you were feeling on the inside are the very same, it's going to come from that same place. So that same place is going to help you to keep on pushing, keep on continuing. Even when the outside is telling you that you do not have money, even when the outside voice is telling you that you are not talented, even when the outside voice is telling you that you are weak, even when the outside voice is telling you that you are not going to make it, even when the outside voice is telling you that you are not cut out for this, the inward voice is always going to tell you that you are the best. The inward voice is going to tell you that push. The inward voice is going to tell you that continue. So that is where your strength is going to be coming from. That is where your direction is going to be coming from. So pay close attention to what is happening on the inside. Pay close attention to what you are hearing from the inside. Pay close attention to what you are feeling from the inside. Because what you are hearing and what you are feeling, what you are seeing on the inside, that is where the path to your purpose is going to be established. That is where you're going to see it. Every invention that you see on the outside, it started on the inside. Every invention that you see, it started on the inside. Therefore, number one, pay close attention to what is happening on the inside of you. Number two, focus. Focus is going to be your friend. You see, there are too many disruptions in this world. There are too many voices in this world. There are too many ideas in this world. There are too many things that you can do, choices in this world. There are too many friends. There are too many opinions. There are too many options in this world. But focus is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. Why? Because focus is going to keep you on the straight and narrow. There are things that are going to come and they're going to look all shiny, they're going to look all glossy, they're going to look all attractive. But stay the course. Keep on your lane. The purpose also gives you a lane. It gives you a right to run and to walk and to fly on your lane. Purpose, it keeps you straight and narrow. Why? Because purpose is the lane or the path that you are working on and that you are developing. Purpose is going to keep you on the straight and narrow. But if you lose focus, and you start looking at all these other things, what is going to give you quick cash, what is going to give you, all of these things, what is going to give you fame, and you are not focusing, it's going to affect how you run your purpose. So I want to say to you that you need to focus, because focus is going to give you consistency. It's going to give you staying power. The life and the journey of purpose is long. It's not short, it's long. So you need to focus. Number 3, intuition. Number 3, intuition. There's going to be voices. I've already spoken about voices, but there's going to be all the voices that are going to tell you, you need to, some people call it the sixth sense. Whether you call it the sixth sense, or you call it a still small voice, or you call it the voice of God, or you call it the voice of Umvelenqangi, or the voice of whoever, whatever that you call it, that voice is going to be key. That voice is going to be important. Listen to that voice. Listen to your own thoughts. Keep on moving. Keep on pushing. The journey of purpose, it's a long one. And I want to say to you that one of the things that you want to consider is that you want to be known for something. You want to be known for something. Therefore, it's important to stay the course. It's important to keep on pushing, and it's important to just listen. Listen to what is happening on the inside of you, the vibrations that are on the inside of you. Whatever that is happening on the inside of you, it's important for you to pay close attention to those things. Number 4, trust. Trust. Yes, I said trust. Believe. 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 The journey of purpose, sometimes you are going to live it and you are not going to see the results right away. In fact, even the people that you are trying to help, they are going to, at some point give you negative feedback. At some point, they are going to tell you that, what are you doing? They're going to tell you that I'm okay. The people that you've helped are going to come back and say to you that, why did you even help me anyway? The journey of purpose, it requires that to trust, because sometimes it's going to be slow. Sometimes it's not going to be as fast and maybe as exciting as you think it might be. Because there is a part of the purpose journey that is going to be routine, where you need to set a routine and you just need to keep on to that routine. The journey of purpose, it's going to be slow sometimes. The wheels are going to be turning slow. This is where you need to believe that what you have had, remember we spoke about what are you hearing from the inside, what you have seen, what you feel, what you've experienced, what you've written down. We haven't spoken much about writing it down. I'm assuming that whatever you're hearing, remember I spoke about journaling at some point, that sometimes you need to journal. So that is going to be important. That is going to be key. That's why I'm saying to you that it's important for you to trust the process, because sometimes you're not going to see the results right away. You're not going to see the results right away. You have to believe that what you're doing is got significant consequences. You have to believe that what you're doing is got eternal consequences. What you're doing is that it's got eternal results, and that you are changing the lives of people forever. You are changing generations. You are changing society. You are changing people. People that wouldn't have hope because of you are now having hope. People that wouldn't have a chance because of you are now having a chance. You need to trust that process, that even when you are not seeing tangible results, when you are not seeing visible results, you need to trust that it's actually something is actually happening. Things are actually turning, things are getting better, things are getting there. Their results are coming. Because sometimes you might spend 5 years or 3 years and you are trying to work on something Every day you are putting in the hours, every day you are putting in the hard work, every day you are putting in the sacrifice. And you need to believe that what you are doing is actually worthwhile and that it means something, that is changing lives, that it's going to cause a difference. So trust is important. And not only that, but you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in your own abilities. You need to believe in your own, that we are making a difference, that you are not doing all of this in vain. So trust is going to be important. Trust the process. Trust in your abilities. Trust in the one that calls you. Trust in the God that has made sure that you are born at this time, for such a time as this. Number 5, preparation. I cannot overstress this. I cannot overstress this. The life of purpose is supposed to get better and better. I spoke about peeling an onion, that when you purpose, it just develops like peeling an onion. So layer after layer, layer after layer, you are busy peeling it away, and to get to the core of what that purpose is. So you need to make sure that you prepare yourself so that you can be better. Read the books that you need to read. Speak to the people that you need to speak to. Attend the seminars that you need to attend. Act. Do whatever that you need to do to make sure that you prepare yourself. One of the things that I can say to you is that preparation is going to be one of the key ingredients for you to live a life full of purpose and meaning. Now that you know that, now that you have an idea that your purpose, it's in this line, it's in the arts, it's in the creative, industry, it's in writing, it's in children, it's in marketing, it's in business, it's in PR, or wherever that you are, or it's in the church world, or it's in some organization, NGO, civic movement, it's in the politics, wherever where you find yourself, you need to prepare. You need to make sure that you understand what is happening in that industry. You need to ensure that you understand what is happening, what it entails, because knowledge is going to be power, and you are going to be tested, and knowledge is going to be your convictions are going to be tested. It's important that you develop a thick skin and that you are resilient, because everything that you are is going to be tested by your purpose. So prepare yourself. That is number 5. Number 6, understand that the road to purpose is going to require a lot of sacrifices. Purpose is not cheap. It's not cheap. That's why everyone, otherwise everyone will be doing it. Discovering your purpose, it's not easy. But like I say, that the key there is just be still. The key there is just, know yourself, because you are purpose and purpose is you. But living a life of purpose is going to require sacrifice. It's going to require all that you are. It's going to require everything physical. It's going to require everything mental. It's going to require everything emotionally, sometimes even financially. So you better be ready and be prepared to sacrifice. Let me tell you what is the definition of sacrifice. It's an act of giving up something valued for the sake of something else that has got greater value. The lives that are changing has got greater value. Yes, I know your TV time is valuable. I know that your recreation time is valuable, but there will be times in the journey of purpose that you have to give up your valuable time of TV or friends or whatever, sometimes even rest, for the sake of something that is of greater value, the lives of people that are going to touch, people that are going to affect. Sometimes you need to give up that, and you must be ready to sacrifice. If you're not ready to sacrifice and you're not ready to give your all, do not attempt living a life of purpose, because it's going to take sacrifice. Number 7, and the last thing, and I would like to finish this by really encouraging you. And part of what we do here at Moments of Inspiration, we don't just puff you up with information only, but we are saying that get the information, learn, then after you learn, you need to act. After you act, that's when you will prevail. That's when you will win. So, number 7, you need to act. You need to act. The life of purpose, it's not a passive life. It's a life that is full of acts. It's a life that is full of action. It's a life that is full of proactive movement, going for it, making a difference, signing up, talking to people, doing this, seeing this one, doing that, trying that. It's going to require you to act and for you to do something. You cannot live a life of purpose from your couch. You cannot live a life of purpose from the comfort of your home. It's going to require you to act and do something. As I bow out and welcome Sevik, I want to say to you, live a life of purpose, because that is the most meaningful life that you can live. See you on the other side as I discuss with Sevik.
You alone are my fortress, my shield, my exceedingly great reward.
Playing gospel music that makes you want to shout. Zoe Live Radio, the abundant life experience. Approaching his presence with praise and worship.
We all face situations where the odds are against us.
Zoe Live Radio, the abundant life experience.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Moments of Inspiration with my friend here, Victor Sevik Seshoka. We are speaking today about purpose, and we're continuing our discussion around purpose. This is the third installment. Today we are just, putting the roof on the house, and we are just continuing where we left off. Hi, Sevik, and welcome to Moments of Inspiration.
Good evening, and thank you for having me again tonight as our last installment. I'm quite excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for agreeing, to work with us for 3 episodes. I think, people have enjoyed your comments and your insights, and I can promise you that this is certainly not going to be the last time. So thank you so much for honoring the invitation. So, like I'm saying, Victor, we're putting the roof over this house and we are closing it down. And so in the first installment, we spoke about purpose, and now we spoke about tips about how you can find your purpose. So now we are assuming that people have found their purpose and they are now trying to work in their purpose. Because purpose, it's a journey. Please remind us again, how long have you been on this journey of purpose? I know last time you said you found your purpose, I think it was in your 20s. Just remind us a little bit.
Actually, for me, it's been quite around 20 years or so, because when I discovered my purpose, it was around the age of around 21, and now I'm 41. So it's been a journey of 20 years.
Wow. Okay, welcome to the 40s club.
Thank you.
This is where life begins. So it's been a journey of 20 years, and and I'm sure it's not been easy. So in this journey, I'm sure the days and the years and the months are not all the same. So tell me, Victor, what kind of sacrifices have you had to make in this journey of purpose, in this 20-year journey of living a life of purpose?
One could say it's quite a lot of sacrifice that one has to take or have to make, and specifically around issues of time, around issues of resources, around issues of, sometimes even you have to sacrifice certain things. You have to sacrifice friends, you have to sacrifice, some family time, you have to sacrifice quite a lot of things just to make sure that you really fulfill your purpose. And for me, purpose is all about investment, investment of your time, investment of your resources, investment of relationships also, because they curtail around the fulfillment of purpose. So it's quite important to make sure that you also sacrifice and also you invest various things to make sure that your purpose is then realized.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about investment. There's this whole concept around, around sowing and reaping. because a lot of people, they want to see great results, but they are not investing. So by the what you are saying, it sounds to me like, purpose is something that you invest in on a day-to-day basis. It's something that, doesn't just develop, but it's something that you literally have to invest in, as the time goes on. So, I mean, in looking at the kind of investment that you have made, in terms of time, in terms of relationships, in terms of resources, all the things that you're counting, would you say that it has paid off? I mean, it's been a 20-year journey or so. I'm sure you would know. I mean, does it pay off? Is it worth it?
What I could say is that basically we need to understand a few things. Number one, we must understand that when we talk about this return on investment or the ROIs, you get to reap return on investment based on the kind of relationships you've built along the time, the kind of resources you manage to gather, the kind of investment you've made are evident in terms of the people that you are saving. And also when you begin to see the people that you have impacted, and that on its own, it's a good return on investment. When you meet somebody who says, I've met you when I was on my high school, I've met you at this and this, and now I'm this. So you are able to look at that and say, indeed, I've done something well with my investment. And also, I always say to people that see the promise and pay the price. And what do I say is that a lot of people are interested in seeing the price, but they're not prepared to pay. They're interested in the promise, but not prepared to pay the price. And that is one thing that I always say to people: when you see the promise, that you need to pay the price, because life is all about making sure that you sacrifice, making sure that you put effort in making sure that whatever you're going to get out of it is something that will be tangible, but something that will be worth celebrating. And for me, I would say the return on investment has been so much that when I look back, I really get to pat myself in the shoulder to say, I've done well. Sometimes we tend to forget about patting ourselves in the shoulder. When we have done a good job, we await for other people to come and validate us and say to us, you have done well, instead of us actually looking back on our achievement and say, this time you have done well, you have achieved so much, and you pat yourself in the back and say, well done for the good job that you have done.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, purpose is it's costly, it's costly living a life of purpose, and that's what you're saying. So, Victor, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, just to move a little bit, towards the side so that we can see your face. Thank you so much. So, purpose it's really costly, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why not everyone wants to do it. I spoke about earlier that you have to have laser sharp, focus. You need to focus. And sometimes a lot of people, they do quite a lot of things. On the first episode, when you spoke about your purpose, it was razor sharp. You're very clear that it's about educating 1 million African children. How has that been key in terms of focus and making sure that you're focused on your goal and that one thing that you're always striving for?
I always say to people, vision without plan will remain just vision. And the reason why I'm saying that is that it is quite important to have one's vision. That's why even when you visit the Bible, it says, write a vision upon a tablet, that those who see it may run with it. It says, even though it tarries, yet it shall come to pass. So the important, therefore, is that for one to be able to remind himself of the vision. And daily, when you look at the vision, you still see, the 1 million has not yet been reached. So, which means we're still having a long way to go, or we're still having to gather strength to move on, to make sure that whatever we do, we're doing in contribution to make sure that we touch this 1 million young people that we've set a goal, we've set a vision to touch. So for us, one thing that makes me to wake up every morning, make me to think much, make me to have sleepless nights about it, is that I want to see these young people of the African descent achieving or accessing higher education, accessing their careers, making sure that at the end of the day they can look back and say, indeed, somebody came and made our life valuable. Somebody came and made our life meaningful. So it is all about a meaningful contribution towards the lives of these young people, and to make sure that when we look back, once we educate 1 million African children, we will be in a position to change 10 million families. So for me, that is a critical goal that we need to focus on, and we need to pay much attention to details towards it.
Wow, I mean, what a way to live. What a way to live. I mean, I can't think of any better way of living. I can't think of waking up and your life is meaningless. I can't think of waking up and your life doesn't have this kind of excitement, this thing that pushes you and drives you, this thing that wakes you up. In the morning, as you speak, I have goosebumps, because this is how life should be. It's how life should be lived, with all this excitement, but excitement aside, Victor, I'm sure there's been equally, as much as there's been excitement, as much as there's been victories and looking forward to things happening, I'm sure there's been challenges. What type of challenges, what have been your biggest challenges in your life, in living a life of purpose?
One thing that I will say is that for every equal opportunity, there is an equal opposition. So it is both sides. Number one of the positions that you kind of face is that people will then ask, who is this person? Number one. And they'll come and say, what does he have that we don't have? What does he have that makes him different from us? We can do what he's doing. And where does he get the funds? Because most people think that everything is about money. So they'll think, maybe it's funded by, if it's politicians, they say maybe it's funded by the left wing or the right wing or the opposition. That's why he's coming here. He's coming to make sure that he creates a ground force. It's creating a base for these people. Like, there's quite a lot of things that will happen, a lot of negativities around. But if you are focused, you know what you are called for. You shrug those things aside and you brush them aside and say, I'm here for what I'm gonna do. Sometimes you find that you get sabotaged in terms of venues to host those career expos. Some people will just have to stand on your way to make sure that those things doesn't get done. But because for me, I'm one person who's driven by purpose and fueled by passion. There is nothing that is stopping me. And I tell them that, guys, what you're doing, you're just wasting your time, because I am here to fulfill something that I'm called to fulfill. Whether you withhold the resources, you withhold your money, forward we are going. Once you are convicted and you are convicted by vision, or you are captured by destiny, there is nothing that can stop you. I always say to people, the issue is about the mindset. Once your mindset is correctly placed, your mindset is right, nothing can stop you from achieving your goal. Nothing can hinder you. Nothing can hamper you. So you just go out there and do what you are called to do. And one thing that I know, the very same people with opposition will come back and say, hey, we realized that we were wrong. And when they come, it's too late. The fulfillment of a purpose has happened. So you just keep on. You just keep on moving on.
Hey, man, keep on pressing on. I mean, regardless of the challenges, we just press on a daily basis. And just because you're living by purpose, it doesn't mean that you're no longer a human being. There are days when, I'm sure, when you wake up, you don't feel like it. And there are days when you wake up, you feel like, okay, maybe let me be a normal person. Why am I even bothering? I don't even know those 1 million kids. Who are they anyway? Let me just be with my family. But there is something pushing you, something inside so strong. So yeah, I mean, this is really the best way to live. So one of your passions, it's writing books and reading. In fact, reading, which also then leads you to write books. So people are listening to us and they want to have the fire that we have. They want to pursue their purpose. And one of the ways is to learn from other people. So is there a book or an author that you can think of, maybe that you can advise whoever is listening to maybe, read or follow or listen after them, around this, topic of purpose?
On the top of my list, I'll mention Robin Sharma, and the guy who wrote The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, the guy who wrote the 5 a.m. Club, the guy who wrote, the Sefer, the CEO and the priest. So the reason why I will talk about him is that he values so much about purpose. He talks much about purpose. He talks much about finding a meaning. And for me, I'll advise people to follow him as one of the greatest writers. Another one that I'll recommend will be Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe.
That's
He has written quite a number of books around purpose. He has written quite a number of books around vision. He has written a number of books around potential. So I'll also recommend him as one of those authors that, they are in the top of my list. Another one is John C. Maxwell. It's one of the people. Those are the books that I've read of these three favorite authors of mine, and who talks around about purpose and also making sure that you find a meaning. And along those things, people will be able to identify or their strength. They'll be able to identify their characters, because sometimes it takes character. As I've said previously, that number one, you'll need an insight, you need a foresight, you need an hindsight, you need to make sure that you also have an eyesight that is sharp for you to be able to be a complete human being. So mostly everybody has got an eyesight, but nobody has but some of the people don't have a foresight, and some don't even have an insight. So some don't even have a hindsight. So we need to make sure that we bring all these things together, and for them to be able to realize purpose. And I also say to people, associate yourself with the relevant people. Most of the time we all hear that birds of the same feather flock together, but in most instances, if you spend time with negative people, I always say when I joke, you'll have a minus sign on your forehead, because they're so negative that they'll impact you, and until you have a minus sign on your forehead. So it's very important to choose the right company, the people that you spend time with, the people that you interact with daily, and also on social media. I always say to people, if you're going to have a purpose-driven life, choose the kinds of friends that are going to pull you out of your comfort zone, not those who are going to draw you, bring you back to your comfort zone. Always make sure that you attend seminars, you read books. I read books more than is normally required. And right now I'm on my 21st book of the 30th book that I've set for myself for this year. So
wow, just this year.
This year I've read.
You've read 21 books.
Yes.
Wow.
To date. So for me, I think I'm going to surpass it, even though I've set a target of 30 for the people that are following me. But for me, I think I might end up reading around 60 books this year, because an average CEO reads 40 to 60 books per annum. So you are what you read in most instances.
Wow, man, that is amazing. 21 books just this year. Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. And I think there's a group on Facebook about that. Do you mind just, it's what is the name of that group in case people want to join?
The name of the group is 30 Books 2021. 30 Books Readers 2021. That's the name of the group on Facebook. They can just click there, 30 Books Readers 2021. They join. We currently have got 1,800 members in the group who are reading in South Africa, in Africa, and other parts of the world, who have joined our group. We've got others in India and other parts of the world who are busy reading, and they're encouraged and they're impacted by this initiative. So for me, it was to say, guys, let's read, because the more the readers we have, the more purposeful driven people will have.
Wow, awesome. I'm also part of the group, by the way. I don't know if you've seen me. So I don't post, but what I like about the group is that I see what other people are reading, and I get to see different authors. I get to see different new materials. Because some of the books that I see there, I've never been exposed to. Then I put them in my to-read list. I've got a to-read list, so it helps me to keep up with what is happening. So that is awesome. So we are speaking about other authors, but you yourself, you are an author of note. And you have written quite a lot of books, and I think you're getting ready to release 2, if I'm not mistaken, soon. So amongst the books that you have written, is there anyone that you would recommend around this area? Maybe not necessarily talking about purpose, but a book that you feel could add value in this area of purpose.
I'll recommend one of my books called Still Under Construction. It's a book that I'll recommend that after you have read other books, you must read that one. It's my 5th book. It's quite, I've actually written quite a lot, and I've made it practical. There is where I talk about road signs. What do they mean to your personal life? Yeah, not in relation to driving, but in relation to your personal life, whereby when we talk about a stop sign, what does it say to you in your journey, in your destiny? You know, when you talk about a cul-de-sac, what does it say to you? So it's quite an interesting book where I believe people will gather much knowledge and gather much information that will assist them. And also I spoke in my chapter 2, I spoke about the power of perseverance, you know, because I believe that a lot of us, and I said there, if you are not patient, you'll become a hospital patient. So if you're not patient, so you need to get to that gist to say, if you're not, I'm not going to be patient with myself, I'm going to have to end up being a hospital patient, because I'll be like there with stress. It will be depression. It will be quite a lot of things that will lead me to hospital. So I talk about those things. Then I've got a chapter where I talk about the importance of understanding management of time, where I talk about that. And I say, if you don't manage your time well, you know, you are not able. And I always say in the book that life is given not in a microwave form. Because most of us, we want things that are microwaved, we want things that are quick, we want things that are just instant, you know, instant porridge, instant cabbage, instant everything, instant miracles, instant success. So I'm saying there, do not live a life of instances, you know, live a life of purpose, live a life that, you know, will demand of you to put in effort, to put it in the work, so that by the time you realize your purpose, you are fully packaged. No, you are not half-baked. So because a lot of us want half-baked things. So it's quite important when they read that book that they'll get quite an inspiration out of the book, and it will really give them a meaningful life.
Wow, this is awesome. So you've got a book, and it's like the K53 of purpose, you know, in terms of signs. So that is amazing. So now we normally do Q&A, so there is a question here, because I think, and this is a question that I've always had as well, about purpose and career. Is your career a purpose, or can your career be a purpose, or is your purpose a career? So career versus purpose, what happens there? You know, maybe let me read the question. It says, what is the difference between career and purpose? Is purpose a career, and is career a purpose?
Okay, simply, purpose can find meaning in a career, and a career can find meaning in purpose. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that specifically because some of us, like when I started in my studies, you know, I pursued electrical engineering. I wanted to pursue that side of life, and later on, I then discovered that is not my calling. I am actually called in another field, and for me, after I've studied social sciences and I became a social scientist, that's when I began to find meaning, or I find purpose in my career. So for me, it has intertwined, where career and purpose collided, and for me, then it brought a meaning, because now I do this with my eyes closed. I do this because I enjoy doing it. I'm living my purpose in my career. But just imagine if I could have been stuck in the side of electrical engineering, I would have been miserable. I would have not been fulfilled. I would have, blamed everything and everyone except myself. And you look at quite a few number of people who have diverted towards purpose and initially find career. One will be Dr. John Tiban, who himself was a medical doctor, but right now he's an inspirational speaker, he's a human development coach. So he has moved entirely away from medicine into human development, and that you'll find. And now he has found a career in purpose. So which means his career is purposeful, or he has got a purposeful career. So you find quite a lot of people who start. I know this friend of mine in Limpopo who's a lawyer and is also a baker, but most people are not knowing him for his law pedigree or his law career. They know him for his baking career. So and when he bakes, you find so much meaning in baking, so that he's so passionate about baking more than he's passionate about being in the court. So you look at those kind of things, and most of us, due to family background, due to family influence, we get misplaced. Let's say, for example, we take Ronaldo or we take Messi, we put them here and ask them, what is it that you wanted to be when you were growing up? If their parents did not channel them correctly in their purpose, they will not have made career out of purpose. They might have been a frustrated teacher, a frustrated doctor, a frustrated engineer, a frustrated accountant out there, but now they found meaning in purpose. And that is one thing that we need to identify early in our children's lives, to say, what is it that this child likes? What is it that make this child tick? Once we identify that, we are sorted for life, and we're able to grow and groom them the right way and channel them the right way. But in most cases, you say, go to school, get a degree and all those things. If you have read the book by the guy, The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert Kiyosaki, you'll then realize that Robert Kiyosaki is trying to extrapolate or predicate what it is career versus purpose. He says, a rich dad and a poor dad. The poor dad says, go to school, do this and get this and get everything that you can, put it in a can and hide the can. But a rich dad say, go out there, make money, be entrepreneurial, make sure that you hire people and you find purpose in there. So we need to be able to balance the two and say, we're not saying people must not go to school. We're not saying people must not get careers. As a person who believes in academia myself, as a researcher myself who's pursuing my PhD, I value education, but make sure that in your pursuit of education, you also are in pursuit of your purpose.
Wow, that is awesome. I mean, I think that I do not even have anything to add. I think you have really covered it. So I think it's important, for people to really, understand and realize that the only way to live is really around purpose. And like I've been saying, I think I've been saying over the last 3 episodes that the purpose, it's really about paying close attention. I mean, with kids, for example, the only thing that you need to do is to just pay close attention. You'll be able to pick up, you'll be able to see, and then you'll be able to channel, like you suggest. Well, thank you so much, Sevik. Just one last question before we close tonight. Have you ever thought about quitting? 20 years, are you looking at another 20 years times 3? Are you going to quit?
One thing that I can tell you is that there are quite a lot of challenges that can present with an opportunity to quit. But one thing that I have said is that quitters never wins, or quitters never wins and winners never quit. And what I said is that winners never find an escape route to quitting, but quitters always find an escape route to quitting. So we need to make sure that we do not quit. And even though it's tough, remember, nobody promises us that it's going to be easy. Even in life itself, nobody ever said it's going to be easy. Nobody said any career will be easy. Nobody said any purpose will be easy. So life is rough and it needs tough people. And that's why they say tough times never last, but tough people do. So we need to make sure that in spite or irrespective of challenges out there, we are there understanding that all of us are but a rough gold that need to be polished, that need to go through the fire, that need to be scrapped, that need to be cleansed, that need to be prepared, that need to be taken to a certain degree of fire so that it can bring out the purity of the gold. So we don't quit. We actually sometimes we take a back step and we reflect. That's why I always talk about what I call PTR, pause, think, and reflect. Once you do that, you are able to be in a position to say, if I quit now, how much more have I invested? If I quit now, how many people are going to quit because of my quitting? So you tend to think about the other people that are looking up to you. You know, that's why I always say to people, even if you get into marriage, you can't quit, because there are certain people who are basing their life based on your success of your marriage, success of your life, success of your career, success of every endeavor that you've embarked on. So you cannot quit, even if you have to think about there's so many cheerleaders out there that are saying, keep on keeping on, keep on pressing on, even though it's tough. We bleed on the way. We get healed on the way. We fall, but we rise up again. We dust off, we stay forward, we are going. The journey is still too long, but ours is to make sure that we keep on keeping on. It does not matter whether it's in a snail pace. It does not matter whether it's in a fast pace. It does not matter how we do it. If we have to crawl, one thing that I love about one of my favorite leaders of all times, he said, if you can't walk, rather crawl. You know, there is one thing that you must just do, but in all you're doing, keep on moving forward.
Sure. Forward ever, backward never. Well, thank you so much, Sevik. In the next episode, to our dear viewers, on Moments of Inspiration, I will be with Abishai Moahi. Looking forward to that. And I was setting you up, Sevik. We'll be talking about we'll be talking about how not to quit. You know, that quitting is not the answer, and we'll be giving 7 reasons why people quit. So I'm glad that you've contributed to that. Thank you so much. Thank you for being so gracious with your time and your knowledge, your wisdom. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure all the listeners of Moments of Inspiration appreciate it. I salute you, and this is certainly not the last time that you are here, Sevik. Thank you so much, and see you again next time. And to our dear viewers and listeners, God bless you. Thank you so much. Keep on living a life of purpose. God bless.